This old world starts getting me down, and people are just too much for me to face. I climb way up to the top of the stairs. All my cares just drift right into space. On the roof, it's peaceful as can be. And there the world below don't bother me. So when I come home feeling tired and beat, I go up where the air is fresh and sweet. I get far away from the hustling crowd and all the rat race noise down in the street. On the roof, that's the only place I know where you just have to wish to make it so. Up on the roof. At night the stars put on a show for free. And darling, you can share it all with me. I keep a telling you, right smack dab in the middle of town, I found a paradise that's trouble-proof. And if this world starts getting you down, there's room enough for two up on the roof. Up on the roof. That's Carole King. Carole King. Words and music by Carole King and Jerry Goffin. Jerry Goffin and Carole King. 1962. Which would make that song 62 years old, if you do the math, which you're not required to do. There's no math required in this show, and also spelling doesn't count on this show, and none of this is on the final on this show, and you do not have to see me after class. You do not need a note from home. There is no homework. There is no term paper. There's no attendance taken. There's no lunch break. There's no nap time. There's no snack. There's no school lunch. There's also no minibus or bus that'll pick you up and take you. You got to get here. Yeah. There's no tests. Welcome to the nosho. I am Ethan Hirschenfeld. I am your substitute teacher today. I'm going to write my name on the board. I'm Ethan Hirschenfeld. Please don't mispronounce it. If you're going to say my name, you can just call me Mr. H. I don't want you to misspell it or mispronounce it. I know sometimes you have a tendency to take advantage of the substitute teacher, like when my back is turned, you'll say stuff to each other, you'll say stuff about me, you'll throw things. We're going to have none of that because mean substitute teacher with a big chip on his shoulder. Hey, what's up, TB86000? Nice to see you. Thank you for the apple, Richard. Hello, Dad. Hello, Leslie. Bonsoir. Hello, Neuro Geezer. Yeah, throwing things is allowed. Throw things. I don't care. Do what you want. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Blue Lady. Happy Friday. Up on the roof. Aloha Z. Good evening. Or good afternoon in Hawaii. It's 9 o'clock here on the tip of Cape Cod, and it's 3 p.m. over there in Hawaii. Yeah, that's a great song, Up on the Roof. Hey, Mom, how you doing? Good to see you. What's up, Dave in L.A.? Dawn, yes. easy listening and also easy strumming. Sometimes these chords, the beauty of this simple instrument, the ukulele or ukulele, the beauty of this thing, apart from it makes a very sweet sound, I think. But also, it's only got 4 strings, which makes it 33% less complicated than a guitar, I think. If you do the math, but like I said, no math required. But math is welcome, but no math required. Um, so sometimes you get a situation like in this song, in this wonderful book that's become my Bible, um, The Daily Ukulele by the Beloff family of Clinton, Connecticut. So, these things are in various keys. The songs are, I guess they publish them in the original key, but whatever it is, in this particular song, sometimes on this instrument, you'll get a song like this where you can get these really, I don't know if complex is the right word, but these really rich chord changes. The song is extremely rich up on the roof. What's happening in the chords, it's beautiful. It's very rich. It's very evocative. And but the fingerings are just absolutely simple. I just want to show you how simple this one is. It's one of those ones where it ends up sounding like you kind of know a little more than you do on the instrument, I guess. So anyway, it starts with a D. When this old world starts getting me down. The D and then a B minor 7. It's almost the same chord. You just got to cover that bottom string. And people are just, that's a G, but then to go from a G to the next chord to the E minor 7 it couldn't be simpler. You just lift one finger. People are just too much. People are just too much. It's beautiful. It's just lifting one finger, and then from that first one, it's just one extra string or one string less. It's just very sort of, it just works out that way. And then later on in the song, on the roof, it's peaceful as can be. These are just the various G chords that are all, again, the fingering couldn't be easier. It's just G and then a G major 7 and a G6, which again is just tiny little switches. You don't have to change really anything. On the roof, it's peaceful as can be. I think it's just beautiful. And there the world below don't bother me. There's a few songs also we've done on the show, and by we, I'm talking about me, that also have a simple, similar progression where you get a C and then a C major 7 and then a C7. And then this is a C6. So you can just, with just this one finger, a beautiful, it's kind of like a chromatic thing going on. You're just moving by half steps on that bottom string. Anyway, as I've told you, I picked up this instrument back in December, had never played it, but I had found this book a few years ago, and it was sitting on my shelf, and that was the inspiration for this whole thing, and I'm thankful for it. Thank you for joining me. I am Ethan Hirschenfeld. That's my name, Ethan Hirschenfeld. There's some dispute. It's hotly debated. It's a subject of much controversy. A lot of tabloid ink has been spilled over the origins of the name Hirschenfeld. Duels have been fought, blood has been spilled, lives have been lost, because people really disagree. Let me just talk about it for a moment. So Hirschenfeld, which starts with an H, and then you can really spell it however you want. It either has to do with a Hirsch, which is if you spell it with an I, a Hirsch is a deer in German. So it has something to do with deer, a fawn, It has something to do with ungulates and quadrupeds. Hirsch. And a feld is a field. So it could be just a deer field. That's possible. The other possibility is that it's Hirsch with an E, which could have something to do with a lord or like a boss. A lord. So it could be a lord of the field, field of the lords, deer, field. Probably it's just Deerfield with weird spelling. Anyway, let's put. I wish everyone would just lay down their arms and beat their swords into plowshares. Let's not fight over this anymore. It doesn't really matter. Yes, Z, Lord of the Rings. That's the actual meaning of the name. Oh, Richard says candy bar. Yes, I did get called that as a kid. They would call Hirschenfeld. They would say Hershey bar. So that was hurtful. Although it was my favorite candy. Back in my pre-vegan years, my favorite candies were a Reese's peanut butter cup, just the perfect candy. Also, it's the real score. Like that is the real score on Halloween or Halloween. If you were the recipient of a Reese's peanut butter cup, that's like the jackpot. My other favorite thing was sticking with the theme of chocolate with nuts was a Hershey bar with almonds. So to be called a Hershey bar as like an insulting nickname, not that hurtful. My favorite candy, but I haven't eaten them in years because I'm on my vegan high horse. But it's not a horse because it's vegan. So it's not a vegan high horse. It's a vegan high hobby horse made of PVC. Dad says I got in a number of fights as a kid over candy references. Wait, so kids would call you Hershey bar also, and then you would use that as a pretext to pummel them? Wow. All right, Mom says it's deer in the field, but that I have to dispute that. The in is really just, I think, because the en in Herschen is just the plural of deer, so it's deers. It's a field of deers, I think. But it could be in the field. What the hell do I know? A field deer romp. Yes, romping in the field. Neurogeezer, talking about the chords, says, I like open voicings where there is a bass on the bottom, some room, and then the rest of the chord. Yeah. Oh, so that's another funny thing about this instrument. So it goes G, C, E, A. But the G you can hear is higher. It's high, but some ukuleles actually apparently make this bottom or top, physically top string. They make it a lower pitch, so they have a bass G string. Boom, boom, instead of, and that would lend more. I think that would be a really nice effect, actually. So for now, I think I have a few years to figure this one out before I start futzing with the equipment. Is there a neck brace for a kazoo like a harmonica? That's a good idea. You know what would be good? I should just rig it so it's hanging from the ceiling, or like it's on a mic stand. So there's always a kazoo right here. So whenever I want a solo, I can just lean into the kazoo. Or I could have it floating down from the ceiling. Or I could have a production assistant, a techie, who would be my kazoo guy. Like last night, I had my stew guy. Nylon strings. Yeah, they are nylon strings. Yeah. Oh, Sailing. That's a nice song. Hey, what's up, Vedra Beach, Florida? Welcome, Florida. Oh, Under the Boardwalk. Yeah. That I was planning on that today. Thanks, TB866000. My idea was we have this song about up on the roof, so then down on the boardwalk. And then I was thinking, what would be a song if I wanted to sing about the place in the house where I would go? Because up on the roof, it's like in this song, up the roof is a refuge. The roof is a place where you can get away from it all, and no one will bother you. I mean, in reality, the roof is a place like here in town the other day. Apparently, there was a fire at the transfer station, or the dump, as I like to call it, because some osprey, which is like a sea eagle. Any ornithologists in the audience can correct me. It might not exactly be a sea eagle, but it's a raptor bird that lives by the sea. The osprey had its nest, and apparently they dropped like half a fish onto a wire, and it caused a little fire. So what I'm saying is that if you're up on the roof, like in Williamsburg and Brooklyn, you might have some fish up there on the roof because the seagulls would have dropped it. The roof isn't quite the refuge. At least, like the guy next door to me, he used to have pigeons, like on the waterfront. He's no longer with us, nor are his pigeons. But I guess the roof can be a little bit of a refuge. Oh, when the sun beats down and burns the tar up on the roof. See, Under the Boardwalk also starts on the roof. Isn't that funny, that song? Oh, when the sun beats down and burns the tar up on the roof, and your shoes get so hot, you wish your tired feet were fireproof. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah, on a blanket with my baby, that's where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun, under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun under the boardwalk. People walking above under the boardwalk. We'll be falling in love under the boardwalk. Boardwalk. What happens in the second verse? Something about a park from the walk. From the park you hear. From the park you hear the happy sound of the carousel. Actually, that's verse 1 in the version I know. I never heard this version about the tar up on the roof. By the way, this is a song by, speaking of last names, so Hirschenfeld, that's the paternal name. And the maternal grandfather, etc., their name was Resnick, and that's the name of the guy who wrote this song. Words and music to Under the Boardwalk. 1964, this song. Okay, so they wrote Up on the Roof in 62, and then the Boardwalk people answered them in 64. Words and music by Artie Resnick and Kenny Young. Verse 2, which I always knew as verse 1. From the park you hear the happy sounds of the carousel. You can almost taste the hot dogs and french fries they sell. I don't like it. It's not vegan. Hot dogs are really that's the basement of all meat products. The hot dog, I heard someone waxing nostalgic. I don't know. I got myself into a syntactical corner by using the word waxing. They weren't really waxing. They were just saying they went to Yankee Stadium. They don't like baseball anymore, but the Nathan's hot dog was great. That's gross. Hot dogs are gross. The meat industry is gross. Meat is killing you. Meat is killing the planet, and meat is obviously killing the animals from which the meat derives. Anyway, that was a word from the vegans, from the vegan front. Anyway, so sad that the song has hot dogs in it. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah, on a blanket with my babies. On a blanket with my babies. Wait a minute. I thought this song was about getting some action under the boardwalk, but apparently it's about a daycare center. On a blanket with my babies, that's where I'll be. On a blanket with my babies. It's spelled B-A-B-Y apostrophe S. On a blanket with my babies, what? With my babies blanket? We both have blankets? I got to talk to Artie Resnick and Kenny Young about this. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun, under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, people walking above. Under the boardwalk, we'll be falling in love with lots of babies. Babies. They're under the boardwalk with a whole bunch of babies. Now I'm thinking that maybe that song was composed as an advertising jingle for a really low rent daycare center where they didn't have to rent any space to hold their daycare center, and they didn't have to do it in their home. They would just invite you to bring your baby to the beach, and you put them under the boardwalk, and there's some guy there with hot dogs, and he just watches your kids. I don't know. It's a little confusing. The 60s were a confusing time. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. People are hanging out up on roofs. Babies are hanging out under boardwalks. I don't feel like under a boardwalk is a safe place for a baby. On a blanket with my baby, that's where I'll be. Definitely in the sung, recorded hit song that I always heard, it was just baby. There were no babies. I don't know, man. All right. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about wall-to-wall carpeting yesterday. I promised you, if you're tuning in, sort of like a cliffhanger, if you're tuning in to find out what I was talking about when I said something about health, senescence, elder care, and floor covering, the nexus of those topics. Yeah, I wanted to touch on that now. So here's what happened. I kept losing my glasses in the house. You know, I was like, where are my glasses? And getting frustrated. And then I had this one hat. I showed it to you the other day. It was that hat that actually I found on my way to swim at Rockaway. But it's a nice little cap. It's like a limousine driver cap. Anyway, these things go missing. They go missing in the house. Stuff goes missing. There's no one to blame. Oh, that's a good song. No one ever is to blame. Boom, boom, boom. That was a big hit in 1986, I remember. What was that guy's name? Oh, Blue Lady Explains It. On a blanket with my babies, where I'll be. With my baby, apostrophe S is my baby, is where I'll be. On a blanket with my baby is where I'll be. So the apostrophe is the I. Thank you for explaining, Blue Lady. I like my idea better, but yours is obviously correct. I love the idea of this under the boardwalk daycare. All right. Anyhow, as I was saying, losing the glasses, losing the hat, and then getting kind of testy about that. You know how you can get testy when something goes missing? And I think the testiness it comes from a feeling of, well, for me at least, it comes from a feeling of like disappointment with myself. Like, how can I lose my glasses? How can I keep losing them? I know you're supposed to have a space, one spot in your house where you put this and there you put that, which is what I used to do. But lately I've been very sloppy with my glasses. Anyhow, so Kirsten said to me, I think it might be, early onset, early onset Alzheimer's. And she was joking, but obviously not a joking matter. Very serious condition. But I said, well, will you take care of me when I'm, you know, totally gone? Will you stick around and take care of me? And then I said, that's a silly question. She said, no, no. And I said, yeah, of course not. That's a silly question because just 2 days ago, when I brought up the idea of, because Hildy, our new puppy, is so big and heavy when she lands on the floor when she's romping around with Gornamonts, she makes such a thud. It shakes the house. So in Brooklyn, it really disturbs the neighbor right below us. Um, uh, you know, rightly so. It must be a big noise. When it first happened, the first day we had Hildy 3 weeks ago, the downstairs neighbor texted me and said, is everything okay up there? Because it sounded like there was a minor league football game going on or something, or some sumo wrestling. So I said, well, maybe I'll get wall to wall carpeting. And Kirsten said to me, if you get wall to wall carpeting, I'm not living there. So then when I brought up the thing, are you going to stick around and take care of me when I have Alzheimer's? That's why I said, oh, of course not. You won't even stick around if I get wall to wall carpeting. Forget about me getting Alzheimer's. So, yeah. So that's why there was a nexus between health, mental health, cognitive health, senescence, and floor covering. I found your glasses in my living room. Oh, you found my glasses in your living room. Thank you, Don. Don, please mail me the glasses. Where the are my, yeah, exactly. Good point, Dawn. The problem isn't like if real problems have started when it's not just that you don't know where your glasses are, but you can't remember why you needed your glasses. Oh yeah, that's a classic one, neurogeezer. That thing when you're looking for the thing and you're wearing them, you're looking for your glasses and they're on you. So I was thinking, what would the song be about for me? The place where I would go for refuge. What room? And I was thinking, so there's up on the roof, under the boardwalk. I was thinking down in the basement. I like basements, so I think that could be my song. Down in the basement or down in the boiler room. The basement is nice because it's really cool in the summer when this place gets really hot. The basement is nice and chilly. Down in the basement is good. And then the other thing I was thinking of was in the bedroom, but it's a misdirect. It's not in the bedroom like in a sultry way. It's in the bedroom because I just love a nap. A good nap is really where it's at. Ban all horizontal surfaces. Oh, thank you. The glasses are in the mail. I appreciate it. Yes, Leslie, we agree. I'm not really going to put in wall-to-wall carpeting, but we got to get a bunch of floor covering. I think instead we're going to make it like a bazaar, like a shuk, like the souk, like in Morocco. That aesthetic where you have multiple carpets and they're overlapping and they create a kind of thickness and we really do need some cushion. It's just it's too much to subject the people below us to. I was looking for my phone and it was in my hand with my keys. Yeah, that's another good one. Yeah. Naps and anti-naps. Yeah, so the naps during the day and then awake at night. That's a nice thing also. Leslie, yeah, foam yoga mats. That's functionally good, but aesthetically disastrous to have those things just sitting around all the time. I don't know. Nap me outside. That's a good reference to a little reality TV. Oh, if you didn't see it, I wanted to say a little congratulations. I have a friend and neighbor in Brooklyn named Josh Seftel. He's a documentary filmmaker. I know him originally through another documentary filmmaker friend of mine, Nina Davenport, who makes great films. Josh has, in addition to all of his films and some great award-winning documentaries, he's been doing this series for many years where he interviews his mom, who's down in Sarasota, Florida, on her iPad. And he does these very short interviews about various subjects. And they started running them on, I think, CBS Morning and CBS, I guess, Sunday morning CBS show. In any case, they became very popular. So there's a New York Times article. You should look at it. It's very, very cool. Yeah, so congratulations. That's just amazing. I didn't realize how popular those little interviews with his mom had become. He showed me. I saw them early on, or early-ish on, and yeah, it's cool to see that they've become a real phenomenon. It's become a hit feature on that CBS morning show. Oh yeah, foam. It's funny you say foam puzzle piece floor covering, Mobius, because I just saw a reference to that in something I was reading today. I just saw those referred to as puzzle floor covering. Sarah with an H. Hello, that's it. Oh, Mom, that's a good comment. Slippers for the dogs. That's a funny idea. Yeah, but it's not their paws that are the problem. The paws, they walk with a light tread and have those nice pads, those built-in pads. The problem is that they wrestle and then they really hit the deck, especially Hildy, who's now, 65 plus pounds and heading towards 100. So it really is a racket. And the house, as you know, the building is 120 years old. So Sarah with an H says, my mother used to misplace many items of my father's after she passed, even breaking things for him to fix. Oh, all right, a ghost story. Very nice. It's a nice way to stay in touch from the great beyond. A trip to Morocco would be great, Leslie, to get those carpets. I've always wanted to go to Morocco, actually. On a blanket with my babies. On a blanket with my babies. TB8 6000. I'm late to the punch, but I believe was on a blanket with my babies, as in is. Oh, no, that's exactly right. So someone else solved that mystery. I believe it might have been Mobius. I want to give credit where credit is due, but I think it might have been someone else. Dawn? Was it Dawn? Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, on a blanket with my baby. Thank you, Mobius, for your honesty. So it was someone else who came up with that apostrophe S. Thank you, whoever it was. Madonna. I really want to thank you, seriously. Oh, so Kirsten pointed out last night that she heard me at the end of the show say, thank you so much. After just 2 nights before, I was going on a rant about how I didn't like that phrase that she was using. Thank you so much. And then I used it. Maybe some of you heard me say that and thought I was joking, but I'm coming clean here. I was actually saying it. Oh, Blue Lady. That's right, Blue Lady. Thank you for pointing out that apostrophe S mystery. So anyway, thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you for your eyes and for your ears, or whatever sensory organs you've used, or extrasensory, to enjoy the show. That's a nice little poem there. Neurogeezer says, my stuff gets lost wherever I am. The ghost is me. The ghost is I. Or the ghost is me. Oh, that reminds me. This gets on my nerves when people say we the people, but they put it in the predicate, so they're like those funds were intended for we the people. No, it's for us. You can't say we the people when it's the object of the verb. You have to say us. Like those taxes, they were paid by we the people. No, they were paid by us. They were paid by us, the people. We the people paid the taxes. It really bugs me when they say we the people and it's ungrammatical. Yeah, look out. All right, here we go. I'll be here at 9 always, every night at 9 always. If you're out of wine, all day long been crying, I'll be here at 9 always, always. Days may not be fair always. That's when I'll be here always. Not just for an hour, not just for a day. Every night at 9, always. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. And thank you, Dawn, for saying you're sad to hear the outro. Yeah, I gotta save something for tomorrow night, and for the 1,000 nights after that. All right, thanks everybody. I really appreciate you being here. Sleep well. Sleep well. Yes, Kathy points out, hit the like button. Yeah, why not? And also share this with someone you love, and or someone you just like, or someone you're curious about, someone you've spotted and you might want to meet. Share it with them. It's a good pretext for saying hello. Meet a stranger by showing them my show. Who knows? That could go well. Sleep well.